and welcome to our crochet yet again for another tutorial. My name is Mary, and in today's tutorial we are going to be, and get this guys for our regulars, washing and blocking our double crochet V-Stitch Blanket. I know, it's taken so long. If you are joining me new today, firstly, welcome. Secondly, we have been working on this gorgeous double crochet V-Stitch blanket, and I'll show you that in full at the very end of our tutorial. And we are finally at a stage where we need to wash and block. Now, why do we wash and block? Okay, it's not necessary. You don't need to. However, I do encourage washing your item before or your project before it leaves your residence, or before it goes to your family or your friend or your prospective paying customer, yes? So they don't want to get the dirty product. So wash it before it goes out. You don't have to block, but yours truly is going to block today to show everyone how we block a larger item. So you will need your blanket first and foremost. You will need your fabric softener if you are using one. You will need pins. Now, I have a very bad relationship with pins. I mean, very bad. It's like a bad marriage. I'm serious, guys. I have tried all sorts of pins and I've not been happy with any of them. These guys here are called T-pins. Now, the only reason I bought these is because on the packet it said they were rust proof. Wrong. In fact, this particular one right here, you may not be able to see, it's got some yellow stains on there. Rust. Now, this little yellow head pin, nothing fancy, very cheap, less rusty than my T-pins. So I'm a little bit sad about that. I haven't had a pin that hasn't rusted yet, but what I do now is I find it easier to buy just a very cheap pins, use them once or twice. When I see some rust stains, they're often into the bin, okay? But it doesn't matter right now, because all we are doing now is washing and blocking this blanket. I'm not going to talk anymore. We are just going to go ahead and wash and block. Okay, so we have our cuddly sensitive. Okay, we have our project, yes, and we now officially have our tub in the sink there, and I'm doing this in the bath because the blanket is fairly big. So what you do is you pop in your water, whether it's hot or cold, whatever your label states. Put in a little bit of your softener, as much as you want. I'm not even going to measure mine, I just toss a little bit in there. It's a bit noisy here, guys, just give us a few seconds. Give it a bit of a squish around. It's a little bit too hot. We don't want it too hot because the actual project may call for a mild water. Give it a shake around. Alright, just wait for that to fill up, guys. Now remember, with our blanket, you will need a larger size tub. Sorry, that's probably blocking out all the light in there. Okay, I'm going to turn everything off. Okay, and I'll just pop it in, and I won't dip it in properly. We'll just get you a nice close up. Oh no, you can see that actually. Let's get a little bit closer. Alright, so pop it in. Just a gentle swish in there, very gentle. You don't have to fuss too much. I hope I'm not taking up a lot of the light. I'll move over. Oh, this yarn is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, probably need a little bit more water because the blanket is too big, isn't it? So I'm going to pop a little bit more water in. Oops. Alright. So what you need to do now, guys, give it a gentle swish around, just a gentle, doesn't need to be fussed too much with. You just squeeze it very gently, and then all you need to do, pop as much down as you can under the water, make sure it's covering a little bit. If you want, you can come back in half an hour and toss it around if you want. Otherwise, just leave it sit there until you're ready to start the pinning down. Okay, So it's beautiful and soft, that yarn anyway. So I think I'm only going to give it a half an hour sitting down or settling, and I'll come back in half an hour's time to complete this tutorial. Alrighty guys, I have underneath this towel I have the blocking mat. Now the reason I put the towel there is because we are going to squeeze our blanket and then pop it on the towel. We're going to put another towel on top and then roll it up and give it a bit of a squeeze. That way it's not too dripping wet. Now you can't see the blanket from where we are, so I'm just going to bring the tub, oh, it's really heavy now guys, over here. Wonder if you can have a look. Let's see. Yes, you can see it, which is really good. Now remember, we had it soaking in the water. Okay, lots and lots of water. Now this is a very, very thick blanket for me. So I'm going to do a little bit of a squeeze, not much. You don't want to be losing, you don't want to be stretching your item. So just give it as best you can before you put it on the towel, which we are going to use the towels to squeeze up. Oh, big strong squeeze. And yours truly is not so strong. So I'm going to squeeze most of it inside the towel. So we're going to lay it out, take off this tub. Alright, now I'm just going to lay it on the towel, nice and flat, or as flat as you can get it because it's bigger than the towel. Alright, so now you don't have to do this part. If you want to pop it straight on the blocking board because your blanket is not as thick as mine, then that's okay. Yours truly knows there's a lot of water in this blanket and I don't want to have the table saturated. So I'll pop another towel on top like so, and then all I do is roll it up. Oh, I hope I didn't move the camera there. Oh, I know I felt that move. So just do that a little bit. Now while you're there, give it a squeeze. All it's doing is getting rid of that excess water. Try not to squeeze your blanket like hand wring it and do it real tight, because you don't want to stretch the blanket in the wrong sections. Now I'm getting puffed out here, guys. Okay, squeeze, squeeze and squeeze. I can feel the towels saturated now. I wonder if you can see it through the camera. Oh no, I'm just bringing it further out here. Squeeze, squeeze and squeeze. Turn, squeeze. All right, I think that's enough squeezing. What do you reckon? Okay, so now all we're going to do is lay it out again. Take your blanket out of the towels. Pop the towels in a sink or wherever you want to pop it. Okay, now let's see if we can see what we're doing here. Yes, we can. With your blanket, okay, pop it on your mat, right side facing you. So wrong side facing the bottom, right side facing you. Give it a stretch. I want to make sure I'm in frame there. Good. All right, now. All right. A little bit of threads. Just stretch it out nice and straight. I'm loving these colours, guys. I'm so glad I chose this particular yarn to do the double crochet V-stitch. And hasn't the double crochet V-stitch come out gorgeously? Okay, the tension is simply stunning. All right, now we're going to start. When you're blocking, you need to decide yourself, do you want to straighten out those edges, or are you quite happy to have, I don't know if you can see it here, a little bubbled edge there. If you're quite happy to do that, then all you need to do is pin it down so your blanket doesn't move. Pin it down on the bubble so your blanket doesn't move. But yours truly does not like a bubbled edge. So what I'm going to do is coax or squeeze it all down so the blanket, we're actually helping the blanket straighten out, okay? So I'll start from the top so you can see. All right, so see how it's tighter up the top and a lot loose down the bottom? Okay, we're going to pop the pin right in the corner of that, one of the little picot edges, okay? Then, I might bring it up a bit because otherwise it's going to be too short. Then, your next pin should go in the corner of the next picot edge. I'm just going to have a look, make sure you can see what I'm doing there. I'll do the close-up for you in a minute. I'll probably do the close-up for you now. Let's try it. As you can see, my pins are actually in the picot points. Okay, so just pick the picot point that you want it in. Keep it as straight as you want it to go. Now, I know the top edge is a lot tighter than the side edges, so I'm just giving it a gentle tug that way to keep it nice and straight. Okay, there's another picot edge right there. Okay, now I'm going to stop that because I want to show you how to do the side edges here. Just wondering if you can see those side edges. All right, beautiful. All right, now with the side edges, as you know, they're a lot loose. So just pop it in a bit. So your side edges are not getting stretched. Your top edges are getting stretched, but your side edges are going nice and gentle and straight because we've got bubbled edges on the side edges. So we don't want those bubbles, do we? Well, I don't anyway. Again, if you like the bubbles, keep the bubbles, it's fine. Or waves, or whatever you want to call it. I'll just see if you can see that. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, beautiful. So you can see that. I'm going to bring that out a bit. Can you see how I've straightened? That edge up there is quite straight and the top edge is quite straight. Oh, sorry about the blue there, guys. So that's what you're going to do all the way through your blanket. And as you're going along, you may notice it doesn't marry up at the end, down the bottom. So that's when you can take your pins undone again and play with it. Okay, you can take your pins, it's not marrying up properly on the bottom. I'm not worried about that until I start doing the bottom edge. Okay, so we're going to leave it there. I'm going to pause it so that I can move the mat over because I can't get the whole mat in the screen, and then we'll work on the bottom edge. We are down the lower edge of our blanket. I'll get some more pins here. Keep flattening out your blanket as you go. Oh, I wonder if you can see me in there. Oh yes, you can, right down the bottom. Good. All right. It's coming good, guys. It's coming good. And I'm going to tell you something. This yarn is so beautifully soft, and it's so beautifully soft, even more soft after I've washed it. So there you go. Ooh, and guess what? The blanket just fits into the mats. Holy smokes. Okay, so that's that. It is pulling a little bit up the top, and it's going to pull a little bit more. This is why we're going to straighten things out as we go. Okay, once we start doing the other edges, we can muck around with straightening it, because right now it is on an angle and I'm going to straighten that as we go. Okay, okay, there, 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 there. I don't know if you can see me now, if I'm in frame or not. I don't think I am. Sorry, guys. All right, so now I'm going to pause the blanket again and move it over to the other side, and we'll see how we go from there. Okay, so now we have to start pinning this side. Again, I'm not fussed about overstretching or understretching. I'm just going to pin down these little points over at the picot edge. I don't know if you can see that. Let's have another look. If you can just see my body. You can probably just see my body. Sorry, guys. Okay. And there we go. Picot edge. And right on the picot corner, give it a little stretch. Gorgeous. Okay, now we're going to pop some Picot, and I've got these pins far too far away. picot and picot and picot. All right, just wait for there, and I'm going to turn the camera again. Just give me one moment. Okay, so continue with your pins, popping them in the picot edge, and if it helps you to give your materials a bit of a push down, give your blanket a bit of a push down so you can straighten it all and put it up into place. All right, what you're going to find with the stitch that we did, there'll be a tiny wave, but not a lot. Okay, if you've got a lot, you may have done a few extra stitches, but again, don't stress. It will still look lovely with a gentle wave. Okay, I hope you can still see this because I can't see what I'm doing at the moment, guys. Give me a second, I'll have a look. Okay, so I've got the bottom part of the camera facing down. All right, pretty cool, huh? I so love this stitch. Now, you might notice it's kind of pulling a little bit. You're just going to give it a push down. Yep. And then start pinning the bottom edge. Now, this is a part where if you're not happy with the length or how far you've come down or how far we're going up, you know, up and down, whichever way you like, you can now officially straighten this out the way you want it to go. Okay, so you're aiming it in an angle that you want. Okay, I hope that's making sense. You can just push it down to make it look longer. Bring it up to make it look shorter, whatever suits you. Okay, it's still going. Let's bring this over a little bit. How's that? Beautiful, beautiful. Instead of moving the camera all the time, I just moved the mat, didn't I? I'm going to stretch over here, guys, otherwise I have to run around the camera and I don't want to knock it down. So I'm just going to stretch out over you. Apologies for getting right in front of the camera there. Okay, now in a minute I'm going to take the camera off the stand and we're going to have a look at how we did it. Let's do a nice little close-up of that gorgeous stitch. I love it so much. I know, right? We'll come back in a couple of days' time to see how this comes out, all right? Here we are, almost 3 days later, because yours truly didn't get time to do this yesterday. So today we are taking our pins off, and I've got to tell you, this is, oh my gosh, so soft. Not just because we use the softener, the fabric softener, but also because this yarn is gorgeously soft as well. Okay, so I'm going to raise that up a little bit more. I'm hoping that you have had your blanket nice and blocked. Okay, I'm sorry I'm taking so long. I should pause, shouldn't I? But I'm not going to. I'm going to let you see me take all these pins undone, and then I'll pause so that I can show you the blanket up nice and close and you can see the difference. Well, you can't really see the difference. You can't feel the difference, but I know the difference. Wow. And don't forget, guys, straight after this blocking here will be the blocking of our granny square blanket crochet along. So we will be doing that blocking in about 3 or 4 days' time. But in the meantime, we are blocking this one here and finishing it off. So give me one moment and I shall pause the camera. So there you have it, guys. That is one finished double crochet V-Stitch blanket. And thank you so much for joining me on this, guys. To my regulars, we have waited a very long time for this, and I thank you for your patience. Now, this blanket was supposed to have been washed and blocked about 2 weeks ago, but yours truly has been a little bit slow. I'm still in holiday mode, guys. If you are new to our channel and you would like to do this blanket, you can go down to the description box down below and I will have a full playlist to the blanket in that description box, including this washing and blocking. This time next week, we'll be washing and blocking our granny square blanket crochet along. Yay! We've come to the end of that one as well. And also, if you are new and you want to try that blanket, that playlist will be in the description box down below as well. If you like this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. If there's anything you would like to discuss about the washing and blocking of the blanket, please go into the comment section down below and comment as much as you like. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to hit the bell button so you can receive further tutorials in your inbox. And guess what, guys? Ciao for now.